Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this more serious topic, but it's been a downer of a day for me. About knowing when you can quit a spiritual path or religion or working with Loki or whatever isn't working out. It's kind of like when you want to quit Facebook and you always have that one annoying friend that hasn't talked to you for 6 months, but when you post you're leaving, they are trying to get the Academy Award for crying their eyes out online. How can you go? And you're thinking all these dirty words that YouTube will no longer let me say because you've watched them for the past 6 months go to events, hang out with other Facebook friends, and everything else, but they haven't talked to you for 6 months. And when you're leaving, it's a tragedy. It's kind of like that. We know when a spiritual path isn't working out for us. I don't think you should be forced down any path. Like, you shouldn't be forced to work with Loki, or you shouldn't be forced to stay on a religious path. Even, and this is going to get me a lot of hate, even if the gods of that path are working with you, if for whatever reason it's making your day-to-day life miserable, I think there comes a point where you have to sit down with your gods or whomever you're working with and say, I love you, but I can't do this anymore. If you're like being driven to the point of like suicide, quit. Quit. That should be common sense. And I put up a video earlier, and because I had misinterpreted a dream, and now I know what the dream meant. And not only did only 2 people watch it, I watched it 3 times because I kept going back to see what did I say wrong? How did I like hurt people? People didn't care about it, and when people, the first couple people to watch your video don't care about it, to me, I know I've messed up. I know I did something wrong. It was like they didn't hate it, they didn't love it, they just didn't care. And one person even left. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I've been getting this for over a decade, and I think the dream was a sign. So for me, I won't have that spiritual path anymore. I don't care how many people know what the video was about and lecture me and tell me, you can't. Da, da, da. I've heard it all before. And I sat down with the beings in question and I said, I'm sorry. I love you, but we don't live in a Hallmark movie. I'm tired of being judged. I'm tired of being less than. I'm tired of feeling, like I don't fit in. I never felt like I fit in, that I belonged for obvious reasons. So I said, it's just, I hate to say this in our society, but sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes love doesn't work out too well. And you know what I mean? It's like falling in love with the romantic poet that never works, ever. It's great at first, and then when you're the one going out and you have 4 jobs and he won't work because he's working on his poetry. Yeah, you get over those guys in your younger years. I think the same applies, and of course it does, to Loki or to any other spiritual path, whether it be Wicca or anything else. That if it's always felt like, I kind of described it even from the very beginning, like, it's like seeing this scratchy, awful sweater. And for some reason you want to put it on and it feels like you should put it on, and when you first put it on it feels like you've come home. But then there's always something about it. It can feel warm and comforting, but at the same time it's like you want this sweater off in the worst way. Because for whatever reason. And it can get like that. You can be really drawn to or called to a pantheon or what have you. And just for whatever reason, you never feel you belong. So, yeah, I actually advocate people quitting. I advocate people quitting. I'm like, if it's not working out for you and you're not happy, you only get one life to live that we know of, unless you believe in reincarnation. Even if you get multiple lives, If you've noticed, for example, that your spirituality in that path has trailed off steadily, and it doesn't matter if it was from outside pressure or whatever, if you've noticed that you're more comfortable working with another pantheon, or you notice that it's kind of like a relief, like if you formally announce to yourself, I'm not doing this anymore, and you're like, ah, you can breathe again. Those are all good signs that, it's time to, um, I wouldn't say move on, but to respectfully cut ties, because it doesn't always work out. At one time, depending on the drugs that were in my system from antidepressants, I'd have been like, never give up, love wins. And I've seen too many people just kind of like lose their minds trying to fit in. And they're trying to fit in, and they believe they should fit in, but at the same time, they hold this belief in their heart of hearts, as I held in mine, that they don't belong. And there's nothing you can do to countermand what you believe in your heart and hearts. You sit there and do all the meditation you want. And the thing is, if you walk away, if you respectfully sever ties, and this includes Loki, and you let it go for a couple weeks, or you let it go for a couple months, or a year, or whatever it takes, that might be time you need to go off and grow on your own. That might be time you need to go do your thing. I forget the Lokean that wrote it, but one Lokean wrote, well, if you're always upset and you're always ready to leave Loki, for example, because of stuff you read on the internet, maybe get off the internet. Now, that was a kind of a rude way to put it, but I understand the sentiment. But if you leave the internet and you're still haunted in your head by all these voices and all these reasons why you don't belong or you don't fit together or whatever, whether it's Loki or a pantheon or a religious system or whatever, it is totally okay to cut ties respectfully, to go through the mourning period, to accept that, it doesn't always work out. We don't live in a fuzzy, warm, cuddly society where people will let it work out sometimes. And just make sure that when you're leaving because it's the best thing for you. And you feel spiritually it's the best thing for you. Don't leave because people gave you hassle, of course, but if you feel truly in your heart of hearts that you belong somewhere, just ignore those people. But if you feel the inverse, if you feel, I don't belong, what am I doing here? Why am I here? And that feeling never goes away, or it even gets worse, then, the heart space wants what the heart space wants. It doesn't always work out in our favor. So I know that sounds depressing, but that's just my view, because we live in a culture where you're never allowed to give up ever, because if you give up on something, you're a loser. Nobody likes a loser. And it's like, no, it's okay to give up on things. It's okay to quit a job that's slowly killing you and get a better one. I'd advise getting the better one first before you quit the other one. It's okay to get a divorce. It's okay to leave a religion. I mean, gods, most of us left Christianity or one of the other big three to become pagans. So yes, it is okay to move on. It's okay to move on from Loki, in case you're wondering. Yes, it's okay. He will understand. Sometimes you reach that point where you kind of look over at a god one day and you realize you've gone as far as you're going to go together. Don't get excited. The channel is not closing anytime soon. It will still be a Lokean channel. This did not involve Loki. In fact, Loki just kind of stood there with his arms crossed like, I hope you know what you're doing. I'm like, I'm fine. And he's like, okay. So, there you go. Not the most happy thing, but I think that was what all the change signs were for. I think I was just hanging on, thinking it was going to magically get better, and it didn't. It magically got worse as time went on. And it's okay. I will live. You will live. Anyone else that leaves their religion will live. But, you know, it's okay to be conflicted as you leave, and it's okay to leave just so you're a happier, saner person. That's why so many people leave the religion they were raised in, because it made them miserable and it made them sad. And it is perfectly healthy and fine to leave that. The gods want us happy. The gods do not want us staying because of feelings of guilt or feelings that if we quit, you know, you're not quitting, you're breaking off contact for the current moment. If things change in your life, you can always resume the contact. But, you know, the gods don't want us unhappy. No god, Loki especially, wants you with them if you are miserable and you are upset. And, you know, if you're getting to the point of self-harm or whatever, stop immediately. Stop immediately. Make sure you get help. I can't stress that enough. One of the reasons we do caution people in witchcraft about starting magic or starting to work with certain deities is because if you do have mental health problems, and I have depression, you have to be very careful what's you and what's your mind playing tricks on you. And so, even the best of us make mistakes at times. But I hope you guys like what you see. We lost a viewer, by the way, so yay me. I probably share things in that backwards early 20th century way that horrifies my viewers, but, you know, I try to be the opposite of what my family was, the opposite of what my culture all around me is, but I probably don't do too well sometimes. It probably seeps through and I don't even realize it. So if you guys like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.